Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. Sorry, my lighting is a bit off over here. I guess I'll sit back a bit. So, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Today, I wanted to just highlight one of the most recent clients that I worked with who landed her dream offer in the NICU yesterday. So she called me. First, she texted me actually. I was actually live and she texted me. She's like, Farah, I got the position. And then she called me and we had a whole conversation. So I wanted to just break down her whole story. Actually, she was supposed to come on live with me today, but she was unavailable. So I'm going to reschedule her live so that she can actually, talk through some of her experience of working with me. So really to break it down, for those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Farah Laurent. I've been helping nurses and new graduate nurses for the last 4 years land their dream role in specific areas like the emergency department, the ICU, NICU, OR, L&D, psych, all the places they're telling you that you can't start as a new nurse. I've been helping my clients get there and get there faster, making 6 figures. And I'm talking making 100,000 to 175,000 as a new nurse. Okay. So what's up to everybody watching on TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram? My lighting is a bit off today over here. But anyways, I will not share her name, but when she comes on live, you will definitely meet her. So this is what happened. Literally, I hosted my free webinar, right? My free webinar is for nursing students and new grads. So I hosted my first one, I believe it was October 15th. She came on to the live webinar and she told me that she was applying for NICU positions and various other positions for 5 months. Okay. For 5 months, she had no real traction, right? She was a new graduate nurse in the South Florida area. She did her last. Please don't ask to co-host on TikTok, please. Thank you. So she did her practicum in the NICU because she knew that's what she really wanted to do. So 5 months of applying, she was getting rejection emails. And in fact, in 5 months, I think she only had about 2 interviews. One of those interviews she actually got was a NICU interview, but she never got the position. So she came to my free webinar. She found it extremely valuable and helpful. She said that she took so many different notes because I dropped so many gems, right? So if you want to get access to the free webinar that I'm talking about, email me at farah.laurent1@gmail.com because I'm actually having that same webinar tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so if you want to get in, email me. So she came to the free webinar, took a bunch of notes, and at the end, I offered my group coaching program, which is a very exclusive coaching program, group coaching, and you have to be qualified to get into the group coaching. Well, she wanted to join my group coaching. However, she had an upcoming interview in, a short amount of time, and she didn't want to go to the interview unprepared. So she reached out to me and said, could I work with you one-on-one so you could prep me for my interview for the NICU? And I said, absolutely. I typically don't do that because I have a structured program, but I did. So we worked together for a very short time, and I helped her with her interview prep, updated her resume and cover letter, but we really worked on her interview prep. What specifically in the interview prep? We worked on her interview pitch. And I remember she was like, oh, I've never heard of the interview pitch. Like, what is the interview pitch? So, I broke it down for her. And we went through some of her personal experiences of what led her to want to be a NICU nurse. And some of the stuff, she was even surprised. She was like, oh, I never even thought of that. And she was like, oh, I don't even, like, I forgot about that story. So we kind of dug deep and crafted a very unique, personalized interview pitch, right? So this is why most new nurses, right? Most of you are struggling in your interview because you're not being authentic and original. You're not sharing your true story, your true why of why you got into nursing, or particularly why you're interested in the particular specialty area that you're interested in. However, like I said, with this particular client, we dug deep and we were able to craft a really compelling story about why she went into nursing and why she wanted to be a NICU nurse. To the point where, like, when she was telling me some of the, some of her story, I actually started getting teary because I was like, this is what your story should evoke. It should evoke some type of emotion as you're telling your story because it should be powerful and unforgettable to the interviewers. And this is why most of you are not getting hired, because you're telling the same old boring story that you think the interviewer wants to hear. And it makes you sound generic and it makes you sound like everybody else. Right? And we don't do basic and we don't do everybody else. Right? So this is why my particular clients always stand out in their interviews. And this is why they get same day offers or same week offers. The storytelling method and the interview pitch is gold. In the first 5 minutes of your interview, that is what I call the make or break time, right? It's either you're gonna make an exceptional impression to these the interviewers, the hiring manager, the team. But if you go into that interview unprepared, not confident, not sounding competent, and you don't have your communication skills together, you don't have it organized, you're not concise in the way you communicate, and your conviction of why they should hire you and why you should be a NICU nurse or an ED nurse or whatever the case is, you're not going to get a job. Okay. So, like I said, we worked on her interview pitch and she slayed. So let's back it up a little bit of like how we worked to that before she got to the job fair and the job interview, right? One of the top things that we work on is branding and your image, right? So literally, one of the first things I said to her was like, you need to get your outfit together. And she's like, oh, I already have an outfit. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, you are not going to wear, like, I love black, right? You say I wear black a lot, but I was like, you're not going to wear black, gray, or navy blue because you're going to blend in with everyone else. And we don't want you to blend in because you are elite. You want to stand out. She started laughing. I was like, trust and believe. And I'm telling you, I tell all my clients this, don't be afraid to wear bold colors. So that's what we literally did. I was like, get your outfit ASAP. I was like, because this interview is coming up. So I told her to get a cobalt blue suit and a fitted suit, not, something that's like not sized or tailored, right? So she was like, oh, are you sure? I was like, get the suit. And you don't necessarily have to wear a suit, but that's what she felt like more confident in. So she got her cobalt blue suit. Then I was like, you better get your makeup done and better get your hair done. So she's really good at doing makeup. So I was like, get your makeup done and get it done, right? She was like, all right, cool. So we had that down. Then I was like, so you want to apply for the NICU? I was like, do you have your NRP, which is neonatal resuscitation program? And she's like, no, I want to get it. I didn't get it yet, but I was like, girl, you better get that NRP like ASAP. The only NRP class that was available was on the day of the job fair, the day of the potential interview. So I was like, you better book your NRP and get it. And I was like, what a story is that? That's going to build your plot, your story. Like, I was like, you're literally going to say, hey, I want this NICU job so bad that I actually went to NRP this morning before coming to this job fair because that is how committed I am to getting this NICU position. And that's what she did. She got her NRP. And then most people don't know this, right? But if you're interested in NICU, there's a program called the Stable Program. She was like, well, I don't know if I have time to finish it. I was like, girl, make the investment, get the Stable Program. And it's a course that you can do online. And I was like, they will be impressed with you if you show up there and you have NRP, Stable Program, and they see that you're part of AWAN, which is the Organization for Women's Health and Neonatal Nurses. So that's what she did. She did everything I told her. She signed up for AWAN. If there's any aspiring NICU nurses, y'all better be listening to this, right? She signed up for AWAN. She got her NRP, and she got her Stable Program. And of course, she had BLS. She also had PALS as well, right? And ACLS, because she also was open to mother baby in case. So we also prepped her interview to tailor her interview specifically to the NICU, but we also geared it towards mother baby, because potentially if there was an opening for mother baby, she would be ready to interview for that particular role, or the PICU, right? Because again, critical care and pediatrics, that was kind of her, her third choice, right? So if you are going to a job fair, you have to be very strategic about what is the priority positions that you want to apply for in order of 1, 2, and 3. Because when you get to the job fair, the way that sometimes they're set up is they will ask you, like, what are your priority units? And then they will try to get you those interviews that day. Okay? So that's something to think about. And you have to prepare, for those specific interviews and tailor it, right? So that's what we did, from a certification standpoint. Boom, she had her stuff down. We also worked, like I said, on her resume and everything. And then she brought her brag folder. I call it a brag folder. And this is literally a folder that has, certain certifications, recommendation letters, everything she needs to brag about herself. That's why I call it a brag folder, and have it together, ready to be presented to the interviewing team, right? So she had that, and she had multiple copies of her resume. Don't show up to a job interview without multiple copies of your resume and cover letter. All right. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat. I have a few minutes, but I'm kind of going to talk to you about a couple more details about me working with this particular client. So I was so excited after the interview. She called me and was like, oh my goodness, the interview went so well. She's like, I'm pretty sure I got it. I was like, girl, you got it. You slayed. She said, the vibe of the interview was really good. They were joking with her. I made sure to tell her to keep it conversational, right? So like, don't go to an interview thinking that it's like question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. You have to make it conversational. They have to imagine you as part of the team. So don't put anyone on a pedestal, right? Because guess what? You are the prize. They want to hire you. The reason you're being interviewed is because you're qualified. So don't go in there with doubt, negativity, all that type of stuff, right? And I'm someone who really believes in faith and in God. And I was like, if something is meant to be, if something is for you, and you prepare for it the correct way, you take action on making it happen. If it's meant for you, you will get it, right? You definitely will get it. Like, yes, you know, some people might think like manifesting and praying about it, whatever, is like woo woo, but I truly believe in manifesting and making sure that your mindset is positive, because what you obsess over is what you attract. So if you obsess over like, yes, I know I belong in the NICU. I am going to be a NICU nurse, right? I am statements. You put that out into the universe, you believe it down to your core, it's going to happen. In fact, if you don't become a NICU nurse or whatever specialty area nurse you want to be, like for me, it was the ER. I knew I wanted to be an ER nurse and I knew I belonged in the ER. In fact, if you don't become an ER nurse or an ICU nurse or whatever it is that you want, you are doing a disservice to that community and to the population, because they need you. Because you will be the nurse that will advocate for your patients, and you will be so excited to serve, right? And to advocate for this community, that these people that are interviewing you, like if they do not select you, it's their loss. Like that's how you have to think about it when you're going into an interview. Like, hello, I'm doing you a favor because I'm here, because you need me on your team. That's the type of energy you need to have. The I belong here energy. And some people might think like, oh, that sounds cocky or da-da. No, it doesn't. That's confidence. And that's competence, like knowing what you bring to the table and knowing your skills and your strengths, and knowing that you are going to serve this community to your best, to do everything in your power to advocate for this community. Like nursing is not an easy field to get into. It's not an easy program to finish. So why would you want to finish your nursing program and just settle for any job? No, I refuse. This is why I do what I do today. This is why I show up every week and I create content literally every day, because you need to get it in your head. Please do not settle for anything less than what you want. Okay. And then the other thing is like, she was so excited, and I was just as excited when she told me, because I knew it was going to happen. I was like, you got the job. When she told me she got the offer, because I know that she's going to be a fantastic NICU nurse. And this is what I do as a nurse career coach. If I know deep down that you want to be a critical care nurse, a labor and delivery nurse, or whatever the thing is, psych nurse, community nurse, there's a reason why you're drawn to that, right? And in these difficult times and hard times in the community and stuff like that, we need nurses that want to be where they want to be so that they could advocate for the communities that they serve, so that we can have healthier workplaces, right? So we can make it healthy for our patients, for ourselves, and our coworkers, right? So what I do is transformational. Not only is it helping you change your life by securing a position that you really dream and want to serve in, but it is attainable. It's possible. So this is what I want you, like the takeaway from this. If you really want something really bad, it is possible and you can make it happen. Just know that. Whether you choose to work with me or not, but of course, if you work with me, I'm the go-to expert when it comes to career coaching, right? It's obvious. Like I've helped over 200 nurses land their dream role. So this is why I wanted to come on and share her story. And I can't wait to actually get her on here live so that you can hear, firsthand from her words, and she can tell the story, from her perspective of, being my client. Because I can sit here all day and talk about how fabulous I am, how great my coaching program is, and all that. But what I want to do is create a series now of potential clients. And I know some of them get nervous and they get shy on camera and they don't want to show up live. But for those past clients that I've worked with, if you're watching this and you're like, I'll come on live, and you're okay with that, reach out to me, because I would love to tell and share your story of where you are now after working with me and landing your dream role. And also, in the future, future clients that land their dream role, I'm going to invite them live so that you guys can hear their story and hear how they're doing and everything like that. And I think it's going to be fabulous, right? So I'm so excited to continue to share my success stories of my clients, because I really feel like their wins are truly my wins. And when we support new graduate nurses and we support this next generation of nurses and we get them into areas where they really want to be, then healthcare will improve. Retention will get better, right? There'll be less turnover rates because we're getting these nurses in the right areas and helping them, support them to be successful so that they can take better care of our communities and advocate for the community. All right. So that's my part in all this. If you want to learn how to work with me, email me at farah.laurent1@gmail.com. If you want to get into this free webinar, email me the same way. It's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I hope this was helpful. It is possible. You can get your specialty area making 6 figures or more. I'm talking 100 to 175K. All right. Thank you again for watching. If you're watching the replay, and if you missed this opportunity to get to my free webinar, just email me and I'll tell you the next upcoming webinar. I hope to see you there.